Robin Murdoch live inside the Weather Beast here on 696, not far from Novi, actually. We'll give you a live look at the road right now where drivers, they have been dealing with some very messy road conditions throughout the morning. We've got their reaction for you straight ahead. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Robin. You know, their son is already serving time for the crime. Now the parents of the Oxford High School shooter are facing trial. Jury selection underway today for Jennifer Crumbley, the mother of the shooter. Coming up, we're going to talk to legal analyst Charlie Langton about this unprecedented trial. Brandon?
Well, Amy, America's Most Wanted is back on Fox TV, and this morning we are talking live with Elizabeth Smart. You may remember she was just 14 years old when she was kidnapped and held for 9 months. Well, the story that she is sharing with John Walsh and America's Most Wanted.
Working for you. Fox 2 News live at 11 starts now.
Spoke to John and Callahan yesterday about the show, so really excited to hear what Elizabeth has to say.
Yes, we've spoken with her before too, and I mean, obviously such a compelling story and such a lovely person, so looking forward to that.
And seeing what her contribution is to the show. Well, first, we want to welcome you and say good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Brandon Hudson.
Yes, this slushy Tuesday. I'm Amy Lange. It has certainly been a slow go for drivers this morning.
It seems like we're going through this every single day. Well, I'm glad that you made it in, and I'm glad that we're both here. Thankfully, most of what is falling from the sky has been rain and not snow. Fox News' Robin Murdoch has been tracking these road conditions all morning. She's live with the latest. Robin, where are you and what do you see?
Well, right now, Brandon and Amy, we are on 696. We're headed towards the Farmington Hills area. We'll give you a live look right now. As you can see, just some rain that is coming down right now. We actually just hit a little bit of snow on the shoulder there, but just rain coming down right now. The roads, though, they really have improved significantly over the last several hours. As you know, we have been driving around in the Weather Beast all morning long and have seen several cars that have slid into ditches. The slick conditions, though, really hit or miss.
I did see one car in the middle median.
The Tuesday morning commute came with a mixed bag of weather, creating slick conditions and causing accidents all over Metro Detroit. It wasn't a ton of snow or sleet, but certainly more than enough to make traveling tricky.
Today, the back roads are pretty rough. I have dirt roads, so it's completely ice.
Road crews have been watching the forecast just like us over the last several days so they could be ready for this latest round of weather and whatever elements it may bring. Salt a staple when treating the roads for this system.
If we get enough salt down early, hopefully we can prevent it from freezing, and then we continue to blade it off and salt it as it comes down. Hopefully, we can prevent it from being a major problem.
Going slow and increasing the following distance between cars also proving to be pivotal during Tuesday's drive, a drive that took significantly longer for most maneuvering the roads. But it also comes with the territory when you live around here.
I got 11 o'clock appointment in Southfield, so I said, let me get out here now because I'm going to have to deal with the roads, but it's not that bad.
And again, this is a live look at 696. We're going eastbound right around the Orchard Lake Road area. That's what we're about to pass right now. So in Farmington Hills, as you can see, you know, the roadways really look good at this point. That woman you just heard from gave herself an extra hour to get to her appointment in case the roads were still messy. But as you just heard, they had cleared up tremendously for her. Now, giving yourself extra time out on the roads, that is another great piece of advice and really can make all of the difference when you are dealing with a messy commute and possible icy conditions. Again, we are live here inside the Weather Beast on 696. I'm Robin Murdoch. I'll send it right back to you guys.
And as we were watching your report, Amy, Derek Kever, and I were having a conversation, and Derek brought up a great point and a question I want to pass along to you. On 696, how fast are you going? What is that speed limit? And how fast have you all been able to drive all morning?
So right now we are currently going just under the speed limit, right around 65 miles per hour. And it really does seem as though, I'll give you a look at the roadway, it does seem as though everybody is really traveling right around that at this point. Throughout the morning, though, and we have been in Troy, we have been in Lake Orion, we have then in Howell, all of those roads. And I would say for the most part, we're about 50 miles per hour throughout most of the morning. And that's what we are seeing from other drivers as well. Everybody really was taking it slow and driving for the conditions. And that was a good thing because, again, we did see several cars that had slid off the road. So you just never know. All it takes is a second, and things can change tremendously when you're dealing with conditions like this. Back to you, Brandon.
Robin, thank you for that insight. We look forward to having you back here at the station. Have a safe drive.
Well, we are still under a winter weather advisory for a few more hours. Yeah,
a lot of plans changed today because hundreds of schools are closed, and public places like the Detroit Institute of Arts also closed because of today's weather. For more on this forecast, we are joined by Weather Authority Derek Kevra. Derek.
Guys, it looks like we're seeing that transition into just rain, which is great. So temperatures right near 32 degrees at the surface. That's when you get the freezing rain. Of course, freezing rain is a glaze of ice on top of things. That was the concern, honestly, for this morning, because you get an icy coating on anything. Not only is it dangerous for us to just walk to our cars, it's dangerous to drive on that. But now we're beginning to see those numbers starting to warm up, which is why this zone right in here already seeing that changeover into pure rain. But north of us, still dealing with either a bit of a wintry mix around the Flint area up to snow in mid-Michigan. In fact, Mount Pleasant right now still seeing some snow, and they've had some snow pile up, expecting anywhere between about 3 to 5, maybe as high as 6 inches for mid-Michigan. We're not going to see any of that at this point because that warmer air starts to filter in. So any moisture still lingering outside will make that full transition over into rain, and then we'll start to dry out later this evening. By 6, 7 p.m., we should be dry yet cloudy. The type of weather pattern we're about to settle into is going to be a damp one, a wet forecast here as we move into Wednesday, and then another round of showers as we head into Thursday, and then in conjunction with all that, cloudy skies and kind of a hazy look. So remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, almost every day was cloudy, drizzly almost, a bit hazy. It looked like those clouds were hanging down towards the surface. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing. So it looks similar to this, although this is mostly rain. You saw that snow up to the north, way up into mid-Michigan. Temperatures for us going to be into the 30s right now. As we look ahead, a wintry mix in the morning, rain and snow, 33 degrees turning to 35, transitioning to rain, and then cloudier conditions as we hover right near 35 degrees. But boy, this is going to be a wet one, guys, this whole week long, and you can track it by downloading the Fox 2 Weather app. Head over to your app store, punch in the phrase Fox 2 Weather. You can download it for free with interactive radar, hourly forecast, 7-day forecast, and a cool little trick. If you tap the 7-day forecast, it expands to give you 10 days, 3 bonus days. Amy, Brandon, back over to you.
Well, turns out a big headline on this Tuesday. Jury selection is underway this morning in the trial of Jennifer Crumbley, the mother of the Oxford High School shooter.
As you know, she and her husband facing trial, accused of not doing enough to stop him. Jennifer Crumbley facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in connection with the deaths of 4 students during that shooting rampage. Prosecutors say Jennifer and James Crumbley repeatedly ignored their son's pleas for help and bought him the gun he used in the crime.
You're going to want a jury that has and understands what it's like to be a parent. I think that favors the prosecution.
Now, another part of the case, what happened after they were charged. The Crumbleys fled, went into hiding, only to be found in Detroit and arrested days later.
I believe what's going to be an issue that comes out in the court is what happened after this event. The fact that they had to locate and find these parents as consciousness of guilt as to the reason why they may have fled.
Well, James Crumbley, the shooter's father, will face trial for the same charges in March. Meanwhile, the attorneys for the Oxford school shooter are fighting to make sure that he does not have to testify at his parents' trials. They're also appealing his sentence of life without parole. The judge is handing down the punishment last month, saying that the shooter deserved to remain locked up, even though he was a minor when he committed the crimes. The shooter pleaded guilty on all charges.
So, with jury selection underway, this trial and the one that will follow attracting, obviously, a lot of attention here in Detroit and in legal circles really everywhere.
I think this is a trial that a lot of people will be watching, especially parents. And the big issue in the case, of which this is just raw emotion, the prosecutor is going to want to demonize these parents because they were bad parents and they could have prevented the shooting. And it's the total opposite of emotion that the defense is going to focus on. Why should the parents be responsible when their kids do something? And so there's the dynamics. It's just raw emotion. And so I agree with Todd Perkins, who's a very good lawyer, has tried a lot of cases before. Jury selection, though, is key because it's the only time in the case when I can actually talk to the jurors. And it's that, do I get a feel? Will you buy my program? If I'm the prosecutor, I want to focus on the crime. We already know the prosecutor is going to get the actual video of the crime. So you kind of have an idea. We're telegraphing a little bit. Focus on the crime, the emotion of how bad this is. And it's a bad crime. Whereas the defense, though, is going to have to say, listen, the shooter is responsible. Maybe the school is responsible for not checking the backpack. But I'm the mother. I represent them. I can't control my kid who stole the gun, etc. Again, I don't know if it's going to work. We'll have to see. But those are the dynamics, at least, for jury selection today.
All right. So, Charlie, when we talk about jury selection, obviously we're talking about each side trying to get a juror that will obviously hear them out and be unbiased. But can that happen with the amount of attention? And I mean, this obviously has been so traumatic, tragic for so many in the community. Can he get a fair trial? Can he get a jury that can remain unbiased for this?
So that's a great question, and really the issue, I think, if you even watch the news a little bit, you're going to know about Oxford High School and the shooting. Just because you know a little bit about this does not exclude you from the jury. The judge is going to say, you may know something about it, but you only can decide the case from the evidence presented. Now, interesting. If you know too much about it, you may be kicked off for cause.
Okay.
Meaning the judge can kick you off. So what does that do? We've got a bunch of jurors that don't know anything. If that's the case, that may actually help the defense because you're starting from a clean slate. You got to be careful. Although I do think that everyone is going to hear a little bit about this case.
Absolutely.
Real quick, I want to get to Ethan Crumbley trying to file an appeal.
Yeah.
Why is that happening when he already pleaded guilty to the shooting?
Yeah, it's a great question. He's appealing the sentence, not the plea. So the sentence is life without parole. And there are many cases that talked about bad kids doing bad things, worse than Ethan, the shooter in this case. Yeah. So that's what he's going to, it's not the plea. The only issue in the shooter's case was how much prison time does he get. So I understand this is a legitimate appeal on the sentence only. But there's one step also is that his new attorneys now don't want him to testify. And if you remember at sentencing, the shooter said in open court, my parents had nothing to do with this. Nothing. If I'm the defense attorney and I represent mom or dad, I may want to call the shooter to the stand and let the shooter tell the jury, I stole the gun, my parents had nothing to do with it, it was me. That would be pretty powerful testimony. Yet, his new attorneys don't want him to testify. I'm not sure he's going to testify, but that would be something. I would want him to testify if I was a defense attorney.
Lots more to come with this. I'm sure jury selection could take a little while, so we know you'll be on top of it. Thank you so much. As always, Charlie Langton, ace reporter and legal analyst. Appreciate you, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.